Welcome back, creatures of the night, to the next installment of our watch-alongs, looking back at The Undertaker's gimmick matches throughout the years. And as you can tell by our ensemble, we are headed into The Undertaker's phantom years as he meets Mankind in the Boiler Room Brawl at SummerSlam 1996. And as always, I am joined by my good friend from Twitter, Randy Turco, who is just freshly in a brand new house, hence why we are delayed a couple weeks, but it is all worthwhile, I'm sure. So how are you doing, Randy? How's everything going? I'm glad to hear that you are all moved in and ready to go.
All moved in. The Taker Detolf made it safely, and it's already set up in its new digs. And I don't know. I love the hats, man. I don't know if I feel like The Undertaker or I feel like the announced team at Survivor Series 94 when they all wore like the cowboy hats. I don't know. Yeah. A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. You know, you can never fully feel like The Undertaker, but a good fake representation never hurts.
Yeah, this hat, we were talking about it before we hit record. This hat is really, really good quality. I was impressed when I opened it up.
Yeah, me too. Especially when after you put it on and it like folds just like how his does. I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, it makes me wish I would have got that gray one a couple years ago.
Yeah, especially the gloves, which are nice, and they give you a nice replica tie. I mean, this is a great set.
Right? I can't wait for Halloween.
Right? It's like we got a whole Halloween costume right here.
Right?
If only they would have gave us like boot covers, may complete the whole set.
Yeah, the stirrups. I would have loved that. When I dressed as Taker when I was 10 or 11, I think, for Halloween, I did the gray Undertaker back then. There was no purple Undertaker, but I used medical socks that like old people have on their legs to like pump the blood from their feet up to their chest.
Oh my God.
And like it goes up to my knee because I'm only 11. So I use those gray socks. I just pull them all the way over my jeans, my black jeans, all the way up to my knee. And those were my stirrups back then. So got to find some purple ones somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you have to do.
Right.
Your costume looked the best it can.
Right. I was a cool Undertaker. I look at that photo though, and I was wearing my Nike high tops. So I looked pretty good until I wore the Nike high tops. What was that?
Hey, you just made good with the cards you were dealt.
Right. Just in case the Undertaker wanted to play some 4-on-4 during trick or treat.
Right.
Yeah.
There was nothing like this back then. So you had to do what you had to do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you texted me. We were going to do last ride match, both last ride matches.
Yes.
And you said, man, we got to wear the hats. Pivot. We got to wear something from the purple Undertaker days.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the only Boiler Room Brawl that involved the Undertaker.
Yes.
And we'll pivot so we can wear our hats. And man, I'm glad. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Figured, we were going to wear the hats. You want to do it for the thumbnail. And I said, well, why just do it for the thumbnail and have a match that has no, connection to the purple Undertaker? Like we were talking about last time, we were going to do the 2 last ride matches. But after this stuff came in, we had to pivot. To a match that he was in this purple attire for the only gimmick match. So it's one and done for the Boiler Room Brawl for him. So it's not something we had to continue on like Buried Alive or anything. Right. So it was just a perfect timing and, just brainstorming the idea.
Yeah, it was great. I'm excited. I'm going to, we were just going to wear this for the photo, but I'm going to wear this for the whole podcast and maybe I'll take it to bed and wear it to bed. Who the hell knows?
Whatever floats your boat.
Right.
So we are both clocked in at 1 hour 40 seconds on Peacock. We are for the main event at SummerSlam 1996. Mankind giving The Undertaker lots of hell since debuting the night after WrestleMania 12. Undertaker just can't seem to shake Mankind. And they are fighting for control of the urn here in this match. And as we see, this becomes one of The Undertaker's most important matches in his career.
This whole feud with Mankind kind of put him back on the map. I mean, Undertaker was a made man, but like he had a couple of years with Kamala and Giant Gonzalez. I mean, he had Mabel. I mean, he had a couple rough years there. So getting this feud with Mankind, and I think in one of those interviews, I think Taker said that he once he saw Foley's work and he saw what the character was looking like with Mankind, he was like, I got to work with this guy. Let me work with this guy.
Yeah.
I can make him. And he had no fear getting in there with him. And I mean, like you said, after WrestleMania 12, I think Mankind attacked him. That led to King of the Ring, and he took a loss at King of the Ring, a rare loss for the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And they do say, announcers always say, like, oh, nobody's ever beaten the Undertaker like this. And I think for Mankind, it's not hyperbole. It's true. I mean, Mankind beat Undertaker a lot.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of offense in this match. So I think this feud made Mick Foley, but it also kind of put the Undertaker back on the map. We're not just facing 8-foot, 500-pound guys anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's been noted that Undertaker was supposed to win the King of the Ring match. It was supposed to be a one-and-done match. Undertaker was going to move on from Mankind, and it was Undertaker convincing Vince McMahon to hire Mankind for a longer contract so they can draw out that feud and he can take that loss so they can continue moving and working together. So they both had a hand in, helping each other out here.
Yeah, and they I think they both had interview segments right before this match started. Taker and Paul Bearer were in the ring for the free-for-all, if you remember the free-for-alls.
I remember the free-for-alls.
And Taker, I don't think he said a whole lot, but Paul Bearer was speaking for him back then, mostly. And Paul Bearer, it's so funny because you didn't really sense anything then, but now with hindsight, you kind of go, oh, okay. He kept talking about like promising the Undertaker that he wasn't going to let anything happen to the urn, that the urn would not be compromised in this match. I promise, Undertaker, the urn won't be compromised. And we see as this match unfolds that the urn would stay with Paul Bearer. He would keep the urn safe. It was just the Undertaker that he was leaving. And it's like, oh, I didn't really think of that at the time, but the seeds are definitely planted if you were paying attention at all. And then right before this match, I think they have Todd Pettengill goes to the boiler room. I noticed that. And I thought it was funny because he's climbing through this deep, dark boiler room, and there's no light, and there's pipes, and there's electrical equipment, and he is scared of all of this. He's scared of the pipes. He's scared of the dark. He's scared of the electrical equipment. And then when he finally turns a corner, he runs into Mankind sitting there in the corner. And for some reason, he is not scared of Mankind. He's scared of the pipes, but he's not scared of Mankind. He's actually happy to see Mankind, and he starts interviewing him. And that's where Mankind basically says, this is my home. There's no place like home. So I thought it was, and then he starts licking the pipes. You could watch him physically actually lick the dirty pipes, which Mick Foley's dedication to the craft is just off the charts because that's gross.
It is. You don't know what you're going to catch.
No. But I think this match was good. There was no place like home because Taker usually had the advantage of a coffin match or a buried alive match or later an Inferno match. And like this was putting the Undertaker on somebody else's turf. The boiler room was where Mankind was from. So it's kind of cool to see somebody else have home field advantage against the Undertaker.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is what, Undertaker's going into uncharted territory here. And one of the main points I wanted to make before we hit start on this fun ride is this is basically the WWE's one of their first cinematic matches. They have the TVs on the outside. They have a camera crew filming them in the back. Not movie style, but it's like a little step forward than we will get, a couple years ago with the Boneyard match and everything. So there's just like little something, Vince has always wanted to make movies in wrestling. And
right.
This is close. This one, and I would say that the parking lot brawl between Goldust and Roddy Piper at WrestleMania, it was like the first two ones where, the camera took you beyond the ring.
Right. And I think you're right. I think Bruce Pritchard has said that this was all a pre-tape. So this was all a pre-tape earlier in the day, probably.
Yeah.
So this is all something that happened earlier until the last couple of minutes when they get out to the arena.
Yeah, until I think they break through the doors. So that.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's like our first cinematic match. So we're gonna witness history here
right.
in a little bit, and I am ready if you are.
Yeah, always.
To get started on the Boiler Room Brawl, the first and only involving the Undertaker, and the revelation of the turncoat of Paul Bearer. So, as always, we will begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And I will slip on my second glove.
Me too. I couldn't hit the remote button with the glove on. I don't know how
Okay.
Taker wrestles in these things. So Taker's music's going off here, and of course it's not going to be The Undertaker, but it's going to be Paul Bearer coming out with the urn.
As Howard Finkel most notably says, coming down the aisle with the urn, as if the urn is a thing.
Right? And this is the last time, and it feels like he's been with Undertaker at this point for 20 years, but it's been what, 5.5? It's
5.5.
I mean, it hasn't been that long, but as a kid, it felt like it was 100 years at this point. So This is the last time for now.
And he would be away from him for like 2.5 years to the end of '98.
Right. And then they start to come back together about the time that you came aboard, when they start to form the ministry. And I think it was October of '98, they started to get back together and gang up on Kane. That's right. But just at the time, when we get there, I mean, it was just unfathomable that those two would break up. Like, no way. Yeah. And I think especially after losing at King of the Ring, you get to SummerSlam here and you're thinking, okay, he lost to him already. He gave him a win. This is a big 4 pay-per-view. This is going to be the blow-off, and Taker's going to get the win here, and that's going to be it. He'll get the final laugh. And then as we find out, they're not even close to being done. They're going to fight for a couple more years on and off.
Yeah, right? And Undertaker doesn't really get, a victory, a leg up onto the Buried Alive. But even then, after he technically wins, he's buried alive.
Right, yep.
So he gets really a solid victory, not until really Survivor Series.
Yeah, and I think with this match too, weren't they? They were kind of sneaky about like the rules. This is almost like the Duchess of Queensberry match at Backlash '01. They didn't really talk about what you have to do to win until the day of. Right. You got to escape the boiler room, and you got to get the urn. And here goes the Undertaker entering the boiler room.
Once you put on these gloves, you just have to continuously play with them like the Undertaker.
I do that when I put on yard gloves to do yard work. I'm always like Kane, like always right? In the backyard. I can't not when I'm trimming the hedges. I can't not act like Brutus the Barber Beefcake when I get them out of the shed,
Oh, you must be a fun one to watch do yard work.
I'm sure the neighbors love me. Yeah. Cutting and strutting.
Yeah, right?
Mankind's obviously already in the boiler room because he lives there, apparently. So he lives in Cleveland, I guess.
Apparently. I mean, that's where Todd Pettengill found him.
That's where he found him, right? Licking the pipes. Ugh. It's funny, like you said, this is before the days of the giant Titantron. So they have the screen at the entryway.
Yeah.
They have those 4 AV carts from junior high.
Yeah, like grade school televisions, like you're gonna watch a movie day.
I mean, this poor crowd. I mean, this is one of. I mean, they're here for Vader and Michaels for the belt, but they're here for this match too, and they only get to see about 8 minutes of it.
Right. I mean, this is why you're here.
And I don't know, how does Taker remember where to go? I mean, I know it's a pre-tape, but I'd be like, okay, so you want me to go left? Then how do I find Mankind? Left, then right at the pipe.
Don't worry about it. He'll find you.
Right.
Like, you don't know what to touch. You don't know what's hot, what's cold.
I don't know how they got the people at Gund Arena to allow them to do this. Cause you said, you don't know what's important or what's not important or what they're going to break,
Yeah. You don't know what you're going to break.
We're going to do a lot more commentary than the commentary team. I don't know if you watched this week, but the commentary team just kind of lays out. They lay out for this. Yeah,
you don't really hear them a lot. Until they talk when that thing goes staticky. Then they say all this technical difficulties and stuff.
Right. The convenient editing, I'm sure, for another take.
I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, And back then, you're lucky if Vince even got the okay to do this. He probably just did it. And if we get fined, I'll just pay it.
Right? That's true. Oh, and Mankind attacking the Undertaker with what appears to be a downspout to a house. I'm not sure.
You never know what you're gonna find in a boiler room.
I guess so. And a PVC pipe to the head. He breaks off a piece of the pallet and hits him in the head with it.
I mean, that broke conveniently nice.
It really did. I'll point out Mankind's boots there. Those were always my boots on like No Mercy when I made my Creator Wrestler Icon 2000. He always had Mankind. I changed the color, but
You had Mankind boots?
I always wore Mankind boots. I love the tie in the front.
Yeah, the little X.
Yeah. Undertaker using a garbage can lid like 2-3 years before it was cool.
Right,
This is
right.
kind of like you said, it's a precursor to cinematic matches, but it's a precursor to hardcore matches too. They
It really
didn't have an excuse to be able to do no holds barred and just use every weapon imaginable. And I'm sure once they saw it got over, they were like, we got to do more of this.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy to think. Yeah, you really didn't use weapons, before this. If anything, as a chair.
And I love they had the pretense of like, we got to put them in a spot where they'll find pipes and weapons and garbage can lids. Whereas by 1999, they're like, screw it. We'll just have all that stuff at ringside,
Yeah, right.
Oh, a Stone Cold Stunner on the Sawhorse by Mankind. What a move.
What a move. I mean, it's funny you bring up No Mercy. I mean, it was just so interesting. Like during that video game, they had classic attires for all these people. Like classic Mankind, you had the purple glove Undertaker. It's like it's so crazy to think like that video game gave you classic attires for these superstars that you can use.
Yeah, and I think for each superstar, you could hit C right, and you could change. They had 4 different outfits a piece, so you could very well have Undertaker Badass, Undertaker Gray, Undertaker.
They had the Lord of Darkness and
Mankind. I probably said it earlier. Mankind. Not only does he get the win here, spoiler, but
spoiler, like just in case.
Yeah, but I mean, he gets a lot of. I mean, Taker gives him a lot of offense. I mean, they're really giving him the rub, and it obviously worked.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Undertaker hardly got anything in right now.
I think the technical difficulties are coming up soon, which I thought, yeah, there we go.
Right there.
Yeah. And I was like, there's no way. That's got to be for like, okay, take 2. Move on.
Yep, splicing. I really wonder how the people in the arena felt.
Like you said, Vince just had to say, if you allow us to do this, we'll avoid any areas you want us to avoid. We don't want to turn the lights off to the whole place with 60,000 people there, but we will write you a check for everything. Anything that we break, no problem, It's got to be.
Oh, it's got to be. And that's even if he got permission.
Right? You're right. Yeah, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry we didn't tell you we're going to do this. Here's $60,000.
Right. Mankind's still in control. I don't know if I've seen The Undertaker have any offensive moves yet.
The only thing is he hit him with a pipe.
He did.
That was it.
Like, just if anybody, back in August of 96 is wondering, like, this guy's relevant, he's good, he's taking it to The Undertaker, look at him. Well, now Undertaker found a stick. There's that cool spot. I still don't understand how they did that where Mankind opens a valve that sprays like almost like fire extinguisher stuff all over the Undertaker. I don't know how they gimmicked that. I'm sure they did, but I don't know how they did it.
I hope they did.
Hope it's not real.
Yeah, hope it's not like actually burned them. Undertaker's coming off like a broken eye socket. Now he just gets burned by smoke.
Yeah. His elbow gets pretty torn up in this match, too. I never can figure out what from, though. I always try to figure out what spot it is, but I never can figure out where he tears his elbow up.
I think right there. I think he hit it on that table.
You think it was the table?
Bleeding.
Might have been. Oh, trash all in Mankind's face.
Then he gets the hot coffee on him later. That's probably like...
Oh, I've got some notes on the hot coffee. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. It's one of my favorites in this match. You're right. Undertaker's elbow is bleeding. It might have been that table.
Might have been that table. Must have got it right on the edge there. Those dastardly tables.
This match, I'm going to try to hit the button with my glove. Let's see if it works. This match has been going for 10, 11 minutes now. The live crowd still hasn't seen a thing. Not in person anyway.
Wow. So if you can't see the Jumbotron and you're not in the front row for the TVs, you're screwed.
Right. You're booing. I would be booing.
Yeah.
And I think they do boo here once they do that second technical difficulties. You can hear the crowd booing because they're sick of it.
All the pipes falling on Undertaker.
So many pipes. How many pipes does one arena need? So many pipes.
Apparently a lot of pipes.
Right? Into the big garage door, which is every hardcore match ever, pretty much.
Sure.
Did you like how do you like your Foley? Do you like your Foley with the this brown jumpsuit thing and he's kind of the maniac in the boiler room? Or did you like the more friendly Foley with the tie and the Foley that won the 3 world championships essentially?
I like corporate Foley.
Corporate Foley, yeah.
Yeah.
Mankind really demonstrating his hate for he's got the Undertaker down. The object is to run like hell and get out and go get the urn, but he does not care. He also knows he's got an ace up his sleeve, obviously, once they get there. Yeah.
Of course he's got an ace up his sleeve. He's got the best ace there is.
Sure.
It's really I forgot how one-sided this match really is.
I mean, he really gives Mankind a lot, and I think that's a courtesy. Oh, and the second sawhorse. He's going to climb that ladder. It's one of the more famous spots, I think, in the match is using that ladder. And Mick Foley had to have seen that ladder when they were scouting the match. Like, yes, I'm going to do the Nestea plunge off the ladder. And he just doesn't.
What else would you do with a ladder if that's right there? Then climb it and jump right off of it.
And just that high pain tolerance. Like, oh my God, like that hurts. There's no way to fall right on concrete.
Yeah. I mean, I give, both these guys to fight on concrete, in a boiler room, which you don't know what's there.
Right.
I mean, for all they know, there could be rats and mice.
Yep.
I'm like, please, God, no.
You don't know how maintained that is. Gross.
Yeah, in retrospect, this is a very nice and clean boiler room.
It kind of is, yeah. See that right now? Taker's dead. Taker's dead. Mankind could just run. But instead, he drags his carcass,
with Kate, which is helping the Undertaker.
right? What's he going to do with him now? Kick him into the ribs.
Undertaker really playing up the fact, that this is Foley's home.
Right.
Undertaker's out of his element.
It's an away game. It's an away game for him. Harder to win on the road.
Yeah, it is.
Why is he dragging him? Just run. Run, Mankind, run.
He was not known for his smarts.
No. Oh, here's our second edit. This is the one where the crowd starts booing because they're sick of it.
Now it becomes like a bad horror film.
Yes. That's right up my alley.
I was just going to say, which is right up your alley. Your B movies.
I read this week they're going now. Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain earlier this year. So right away, there's going to be a horror movie about Winnie the Pooh now that it's public domain,
Because everybody needs a Winnie the Pooh horror film, apparently.
Apparently, Piglet and Pooh have been, Christopher Robin grew up and has distanced himself from them. He doesn't feed them anymore, and now they've gone
wild. Them anymore?
No, he doesn't feed them anymore. So now they've gone feral. They've gone wild, and they're after human flesh. What a great idea! I love trash, so I'll watch it.
I mean, I'm thinking here, they're animals. They can feed themselves. Okay.
It wouldn't be a good horror movie otherwise.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what else would they do except go feral and need human flesh?
Right. Exactly.
Something tells me Christopher Robin's getting killed.
Well, the Undertaker's getting killed in this match, and Mankind has found another ladder.
Because why wouldn't you?
Right. I'm just hopeful that this ladder holds him. Holds his body.
Undertaker's got life.
Undertaker just sat up. And I think he's going to yank him down.
Precursor to the Hell in a Cell.
Yes. This is another terrible, just plop. I mean, I know it's a box, but it's not much of a box.
It's not much of a box.
No. So Undertaker's taken a pounding for about 15 minutes, but he's gotten a couple of big splashes in now to kind of even it up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's slowly crawling for what you assume is the door, although we don't really know where that is. Oh, now we threw him into the light tubes. Very New Japan.
Just throws him into a box of light tubes because, of course, they'd be there.
We'll have to make sure that dirt on the back of his shirt, we'll have to make sure that's consistent when they come out to the arena. We'll see if it is. Oh, he's walking towards the stairs. I can see the door now.
Yeah. You can see the exit sign.
Yes, you can see the exit sign. That's right.
The exit sign.
Good call, yeah.
Going.
Now it's the Undertaker's turn to grab his boot. Best pure striker in the game, right there.
Of course.
For this being such a bad ending for the Undertaker, and he gets carried off, as we'll see. He doesn't go away very long. Right? He's back at the next pay-per-view. Usually when he dies for 6 months.
He dies for 6 months.
Yeah, he doesn't die very long here. Oh, you got to use the fire extinguisher.
He wanted his revenge quickly.
Boom. Fire extinguisher to the face. Undertaker, is he going to get out first? Nope.
So close.
Mankind getting out first. This is like this is like a horror movie right here.
Yeah, here we go.
Trying to trap the monster inside. He shut the door. I don't know why there's a referee there. You can't win by getting out. Now he's going to barricade the door like this is Friday the 13th, part 4 right here.
Friday the 13th, part 4.
Put the dresser in front of the door. Do whatever you can do here. And Mankind, instead of running to the ring, he's going
why is he even stupid ass?
And here comes Taker. Oh, and he plows through all the garbage cans and the file cabinets. And now they're out here with the job squad. Look at all these guys in the hallway. It's I took notes. Godwin's, Mark Henry, Aldo Montoya, Stone Cold, Justin Hawk Bradshaw, and Goldust.
Hillbilly Jim.
And Hillbilly Jim, yes. Well, we would be remiss if we didn't mention Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah, we'd be remiss. He's still giving his Hall of Fame speech.
Marty Jannetty's in there.
God.
It's Goldust. There's Bradshaw and Stone Cold.
Triple H.
Oh, is that Triple H?
I think he's coming up here. No, Bob Backlund.
Oh, it's Bob Backlund. Well, Bob Backlund and Triple H are often mistaken for each other.
I think I just insulted Triple H.
Oh, here comes the coffee.
Yeah, here comes the coffee.
My favorite spot in this match is the Undertaker getting hit with hot coffee to the face and chest. And I looked it up. There's many moments where coffee and pro wrestling intersect. In 1987, the Macho Man calls Steamboat a cup of coffee. He's having a cup of coffee with the big time. Eddie Guerrero in a Nitro in 1998, he pours coffee on himself, saying he's going to save Eric Bischoff the time. In 1996 on Nitro, Ric Flair throws hot coffee at Luger and Sting, but he accidentally hits the Giant, his partner, and they lose. And then it wasn't coffee, but most importantly, Y2J peed in Steven Regal's tea in 2001 before WrestleMania 17. So yeah. Coffee and tea, big part of wrestling, apparently.
Yes.
They're out in the arena now. Hallelujah. They're out in the arena at 2:05. So this has been going for 20 minutes, and they're just now starting to see stuff in the live crowd. Breaks a 2x4 over his back. Oh.
This is presented by Stridex, by the way.
I think it gets presented by Stridex next year, too. Survivor Series, SummerSlam 97, when Taker defends the belt against Bret Hart, right?
Yeah. Stridex, a consistent partner of WWF.
Yes. Are they even still a thing?
I think so.
I mean, teenagers still have zits, right? Does it still work?
I think it's still there, yeah. I know I used it like 10 years ago, so.
Sure. I love looking at all the shirts and like all the merch in the crowd.
All the stuff that I wish I had.
My wife has that Shawn Michaels hat that kid's wearing, the biker hat.
Oh, there was a TV.
Oh, the AV cart fell over. Well, now we're down to 3 TVs.
Oh, well, people can at least see them now.
Who's going to get to Paul Bearer first and get that urn? Pretty famous spot coming up here. Mankind's going to expose that concrete as if we didn't have enough of it earlier.
Yeah, right?
A lot of people in the crowd wearing my shirt that I got here, although theirs isn't 5XL or whatever mine is.
I'm sure. But that's just how you rolled back then. So
Yeah, I think I bought it for like $30 in like probably 1996, 97, somewhere in there. Boom, wedgie pile. That's a Foley like trademark, is that wedgie pile driver onto the where he pulls your trunks and just drives you into the concrete. And it looks like Mick Foley is going to be the one to get in the ring first. Paul Bearer doing more walking than he's ever done in his life there, pacing the ring, worried about it. What do I do if Mankind gets in here first?
but it's not just getting in there. You gotta grab possession.
Yes, you got to grab possession of the urn, and the Undertaker's got his boot. Taker stops his progress. I think Taker's going to get up there, and we're going to have a good old-fashioned slugfest to see who's going to fall and who's going to stay. Big right hands from the best striker in the game. Get ready for the most sickening spot probably in the entire match. And that's this slingshot. Boom.
Oh,
Foley falls onto the concrete back first. He does a back smacker onto the concrete. And you know that's just Mick Foley taking it. Unbelievable thud.
he's got to take possession of the urn.
So now it appears that The Undertaker, with ease, is going to win the match.
You would think it's his for the taking.
Oh, they got the foam finger. They got the foam finger. I see kids with the front row with the foam finger. Give me that urn, The Undertaker says. That urn, by the way, is the urn with the ears
Yes.
that they had on Most Wanted Treasures last year, April of 2021, where Undertaker had to go get it from the National Museum of Funeral History.
Yeah.
Oh, and Paul Bearer with turning his back on the Undertaker, literally. And now it's a mandible claw. And the Undertaker has went down every time that mandible claw gets put on him. So
Paul Bear's laughing.
And now we see Paul Bearer laughing.
I remember watching the highlights on this on that Phenom VHS tape.
Yeah.
Just, with the music they added to it and everything, it made it so spectacular and epic of this betrayal.
And the Undertaker sits up again. He just won't die. There's only one thing. Oh, he's going to smack him, isn't he? Oh.
Oh. It's hideous.
Right. This is unfathomable. These two guys are like peanut butter and jelly, you know? And the Undertaker just won't die. All the kicks, all the mandible claws, and Undertaker just keeps going to Paul Bearer in the corner. Give me that urn. And nothing Mankind does will put him down.
As Undertaker says, he thinks he still has a dent in it from his head.
Boom. And that's what puts him down, is the urn shot from Paul Bearer, cracking him in the head. And Mankind, I thought it was pretty cool when Mankind started carrying that thing upside down, or Paul Bearer would start carrying that urn upside down when it was Mankind's. That was pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Over the next few months, the urn with the ears.
That's a lot of exercise Paul Bearer did there.
Right. It's a lot of walking and pacing the ring.
And body shots and
right
punches.
Kicking. Love the foam finger that everybody's got.
I need to get me a that. I need to get me a foam finger.
Got two of them. This one's not in as good of shape though. This one's got some nicks on it. It's not terrible, but it's all right. Now they're leaving, and I believe Paul Bearer says, "Because I'm Paul Bearer, and you're not."
And you're not. Which is true. He is Paul Bearer, and we're not.
And that's right. Yes. Undertaker hasn't moved since getting hit with that urn. So why do you think they decided right now is the time to split The Undertaker and Paul Bearer? Why SummerSlam 1996?
You know, the funny thing is Undertaker didn't even know. He didn't even know why they decided to do it. And I don't even really know. Seems like an odd thing. You know, I would think the Buried Alive may have been a better choice.
Sure.
I think that may have been a better choice. I think maybe having Undertaker win here and then maybe doing the Buried Alive, and then when he's about to bury Mankind, maybe Paul Bearer hit him with the urn and he falls in.
Sure.
But I don't know. Because he didn't really change his look up after this. He still stayed purple until he was buried.
Yeah, and he only, like we said, he only dies for a couple of, I don't even think, he might be on Raw tomorrow. I forget, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's very long. It's not like he's going away. So
yeah.
I'm not, and here comes the Druids to
pick
up the Undertaker.
I can see why, it was kind of an odd pay-per-view to, do it at.
The only thing I could think of is, and I don't know, but maybe it's kind of like, it reminds me of what's going on currently with Bobby Lashley and the Giant Omos and MVP. It's kind of like Taker was obviously over by himself. He didn't need Paul Bearer anymore to talk for him. He kind of came into his own on promos, and he was an icon by then, 5 years in, 6 years in. And I think they were thinking like, let's take Paul Bearer off of Undertaker. Undertaker could be fine alone. He doesn't need Paul Bearer anymore. Let's put Paul Bearer on this new kid, Mankind, and give him the rub and help get him over. And so maybe that's what they're thinking. And I think that's what they did. Bobby Lashley was managed by MVP. Bobby Lashley's a world champion, a former champion. He's as over as he's going to be. I'm not saying he's Taker over, but he's a main eventer. And I think they thought, you know what, let's take MVP off Bobby Lashley and let's put him with Omos because he clearly needs help. Now, I don't know if Omos is going to be Mankind successful, but I do think having a mouthpiece will help. So maybe they were just thinking they're going to put Paul Bearer with Mankind and help get him over. I don't know.
Maybe.
And then there's still time in the feud. If you do it right now, there's still some time in the feud for them to make the change. And then the Undertaker can still get the last laugh, at Survivor Series. Maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
The Druids, by the way, are now carrying. They didn't bring a casket or a body bag. They're just carrying the Undertaker out awkwardly, like Jesus almost. They're just carrying him out of the arena. It's very odd while their music plays, the Druid chanting.
Very somber. Very odd way to end the pay-per-view, I would say.
Is Vader and Mankind, or is Vader and Shawn after this?
No, this is the main event.
No, really?
Yeah, I believe so.
No, my Peacock says we still got 31 minutes. The championships match got to be.
Are you kidding? Wow, I always thought this was the main event.
Yeah, no, because I think, could you imagine this poor live crowd at like, okay, we're not going to show you 3/4 of the match. It's going to be in the back. And then also the bad guy's going to kill the good guy at the end. See ya.
See ya. Well, that basically ends the Boiler Room Brawl. Anything else here to close us out, Randy?
I did list
notes.
Yeah, I did list there's a few Boiler Room Brawls in wrestling history. No more with the Undertaker.
That's right.
So we won't be covering them here. But Mankind defeats the Undertaker, SummerSlam 96, which kind of starts it because that's Mankind's home, as we talked about. And Mankind's in all the WWE Boiler Room Brawls. The next one would be at Backlash 99 in April of 99.
Yes.
Mankind defeats the Big Show, who's only about 2 months into his run as the Big Show. Mankind defeats the Big Show. And the biggest thing I remember from that one is Mankind kind of like after he wins, he's kind of escaping the boiler room and he's kind of whimpering to himself because he's, got beat up by the Big Show. And he's kind of like, I don't want to fight the Big Show again. I've got kids. That's just like of all the moves that they did and all the insanity, that's what I remember is him making that joke at the end.
Wow, that's sad.
Right. Triple H defeated Mankind on a 1999 episode of SmackDown in a boiler room brawl. I think this is the end of 99 as they're starting to the McMahon-Helmsley era is starting to beat down on Mankind so he can return as Cactus Jack instead.
That's the Trials of Triple H episode. That's the one Undertaker walks out on. He didn't want to fight him in the casket match. He's done.
And then Triple H dressed as Santa come Christmas time 1999. He defeats Mankind with the help of the Mean Street Posse on Raw in a boiler room brawl.
Wow, I don't even have any recollection of that one.
So Triple H has been in more boiler room brawls than The Undertaker.
And more victories.
Yes. And then I did, those are the 4 from WWE. There was a cheap knockoff version, so I know you're surprised, from WCW.
I am surprised.
And so they called it The Block, but it was a boiler room brawl match. And their guy wasn't Mankind. Their guy was Jerry Flynn, not Jerry Lynn from the ECW, former world champion. This is Jerry Flynn with an F. And he kind of, if you Google him, he kind of reminds me of Steve Blackman a little bit, like that martial arts guy, kind of plain, but he also kind of delves in hardcore stuff too. He can, beat you up with karate, but he can also hit you over the head with a pan or something, So Jerry Flynn, that was his match in WCW, The Block, and he defeated the Barbarian on a 1999 Nitro and in a boiler room brawl. And then he also went to a no contest with The Wall on a 1999 Nitro. So those are the 2 boiler room brawls in WCW history.
Hard-hitting matches.
Oh my gosh. Jerry Flynn.
Wow.
Right. Jerry Flynn. I think they were trying to kind of tie it into their hardcore division because I remember they had a hardcore title for a minute in WCW, but
amazing.
Right. It didn't work clearly. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I am glad we got this one out of the way.
Yeah, it was I mean, I think I understand why they did it, giving Mankind a lot of offense and then obviously he gets the win, but it is very one-sided.
Very one-sided. It is not as exciting as I remember.
Sure. The ending, I think the turn was exciting, and that's what people remember.
That's what I remember the most is the ending, but damn, that was one-sided.
Yep.
And I really, makes you take you back to being in the position of the crowd. And if I was in the crowd, I would think this is one of the worst things ever.
Right.
It is boring as hell.
Right. And they only saw 8 minutes of action.
Yeah, you can't see 90% of it, and I could see why McMahon didn't do it again. Especially, before they can, present it in a wider Titantron, a wider array of doing so. But yeah, looking back at it, I think the most spectacular part is the betrayal.
Absolutely.
And besides that, it is
right. Yeah. And they would get better. It was one of their first forays into hardcore matches, and they would clearly get better on it. Practice makes perfect. They'd get better on it. But so purple Undertakers. We always talk toys here. That's the point. That's the point of the mothership, right? Is the toys. So what purple Undertaker toys come to mind? I wrote down a few.
Yes. A couple of ones come to mind. BCA Superstar Series 1. One that started it all. One of my
I wrote Series 2 because Series 2 is that where he has the glow-in-the-dark flesh?
Glow-in-the-dark flesh is Series 2.
Yes.
So Series 1 and 2, some of my favorite figures. And, of course, one of my favorite figures, Legends Series 9. With the hair in the face.
Yep, that's the one I have, the represent purple Phantom of the Opera taker in my Detolf. I used to have the Lost Legends Elite. That was what I had first. He had the hard coat, so he was stuck in that angel position that you can't pose him in the hard coat.
Yeah, the angel position.
But I did replace him when I found Legends 9. I thought I'm going with the soft goods taker.
Such a better figure. You got the soft goods. You got a much better face scan, much better hair. Yeah,
absolutely agree. Better. What about the Retro Series 1? The only Undertaker retro we have is Purple Undertaker.
Yeah. A good representation.
I wouldn't, as we always talk about, I hope that retros, Taker gets a gray one. I hope he gets a badass. There's so many variations.
I hope he gets a Lord of Darkness Ministry.
Sure.
Because you got the gray as the Hasbro. They don't really need to revisit the gray.
Sure.
They gave him the purple already. I would love the Ministry, Lord of Darkness, or a badass one. But I think like the Attitude Era, that'd be great because it'll match the Rock, it'll match the Kane, it'll match the Austin, the Triple H. Nice Attitude Era Undertaker, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I would love to see more retros. But right now I'm looking at them. The purple one is the one that they picked first. So
yeah,
that's Purple Undertaker.
But it is most colorful, so I can see why.
Yeah, it's toyetic, as they say, right?
It pops.
Yes. And the other thing I had listed was not even a toy, but all I thought about when I watched this match earlier this week was the cover of WWE magazine, WWF magazine from the fall of '96, because they're always a little bit behind. And it was Paul Bearer with the urn over his head, and he's about ready to crack the Undertaker in the head, like Undertaker's on his knees. And I remember that magazine. And now that I'm in this bigger house, I can get to my stuff a lot easier than I used to. So I went over to my trunk from college, and I found all my WWF magazines that I have saved.
Sure.
And I saw my No Mercy manual, strategy guide, WrestleMania 2000 strategy guide.
Nice.
And I went through and I have a bunch of different ones. I have Undertaker and Nails on the cover of WWE magazine from like 93.
Yeah.
I got a lot of the Attitude Era, like 97, 98 and beyond, all the way, towards my college years, 02, 03, 04. And I didn't have that one. So I immediately went to eBay and it was like, I've got to get this magazine with Paul Bearer with the urn. So, as I'm sure you know, the magazines are pretty cheap. You can find them, like you should be able to find them in under $10, most of them under $10. And so I found that one. And then I started thinking like, what other Undertaker ones don't I have? So I don't have his first one from 91. I know Alex Dorio just bought that fairly recently, and I found that one. And there's another one from like 92. They packaged them together, and those were under $10 together. And I was like, wow. I gotta get those. Yeah. So yeah. I've got like 3 or 4 because of this podcast. I've got 3 or 4 magazines coming my way. I'll have to show them off next time.
Yes. I have to get one of my. I think the first magazine I ever saw of him is the Ministry of Darkness one, when he has the purple TX behind him.
Sure.
His WrestleMania 15 attire. I have to get that one.
How can you not have that one?
Right? That's what I remember. That one, I think he's there crucifying Austin on one.
Sure.
So, I have to get them. I have to get those.
Yeah. I say you can usually find a pretty good deal. Like I said, all mine were. I probably spent $20-$25 total, but I've got like 4 magazines coming.
Sure.
They were all individually, they were all under $10.
That's cheaper than they probably were.
They were, right? Yeah. Yep. I had a subscription for a little while, and I want to say when I first went to college in 99. So I've got like 12 in a row from like 1999. So I got those years pretty covered, 02, 03, but the 92, 91, 96 with Paul Bearer. And I was like, man, I got to get that one because I remember that cover.
Oh, sure.
So you're making me spend money here is basically what I'm saying.
Hey, and it all started with the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast trying to make me spend more money and building up the collection. So
right.
It's a vicious cycle.
Well, you saw I brought my props. I got the foam finger here. This month I did add the WrestleMania 38 Blu-ray.
You show me. Nice.
Which we texted about. I figured the man is on the front, right?
Right.
So his speech has to be in the extras. But if you look at the back, it doesn't really list any extras at all. And so when I bought it, I thought, uh-oh. And I put in disc 1, and disc 1 doesn't have any extras. And I thought, uh-oh.
Usually extras are on disc 2.
Thank God it is. The only special feature is...
the only special feature is his speech.
Yeah, it just says well, I sent you the menu. It says dead man talking or something like that. And it is just his speech. It's not the Steiners. It's not Charmel. You don't have to fast forward through anybody else. It's just Vince McMahon's induction and then the Undertaker's TED Talk that he gives after that in its entirety. So that was a good purchase. And then obviously I tweeted that one out. This one came yesterday. So it's not signed by the Undertaker. It's not the $500 one because holy cow! If I spend $500, I want to meet the guy. If I spend $500, but
right, $500 you can meet him.
Right, I'm saving it for that. I saw he was in Orlando recently, so maybe he'll come. I mean, even if he doesn't come to Minnesota, he comes to Iowa, Chicago, maybe Milwaukee.
Chicago. I mean, he'll definitely come to Chicago. He's been there before. That's why I met him twice.
Sure,
he'll be there.
I would love to do that, and I would spend the money for that. But
you can get that signed. You can get that signed by him,
and then it will be signed, right?
It will be signed.
Because I want to meet him. I want to talk about the hook on his pants. Obviously, I always talk about that, but I don't know what I would have signed. I want a picture. I do the picture and the signature. If they offer that combo, but I don't know. Looking around the room, I don't know that I have something that stands out that I would have signed. So maybe this.
Definitely. I would, if I had that, I'd get that signed.
Yeah. I think the canvas that was used when he unveiled the statue or the sheet that covered the statue, whatever. But I think the cooler part is this, there's a piece of carpet here from his speech.
Yeah. And which he probably walked on, like I said yesterday to Alex. He walked around the whole ring, so he probably walked on your piece.
Yeah, and there's only 380 of these things, so I got 205. What was Alex's number? He never told me.
151.
151. Dang, he beat me. He must have put his order in that much quicker than I did. I don't know.
Luck of the draw.
But that was those were my additions. Despite moving, not a bad month. Despite
not
moving,
a bad month.
To get the hat and the gloves and the tie and then the plaque and the WrestleMania DVD.
Nice.
Blu-ray.
Nice. You can't stop collecting.
No. Well, and especially right now with Taker getting into the Hall of Fame, everything's pretty hot. He's got so much stuff coming out. I still keep checking,
Right? The LED coffin and that cube.
I'm still waffling on that. I'm like, I got to get that. It's kind of like you wait until there's a few things on WWE shops. You have to pay shipping 5 times,
I'm waiting for those to go on sale.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'm waiting for those to go on sale.
Because half of the shirts that I bought the other month, they're already on sale now.
I know, but I have no patience.
I know, right?
So it is my downfall.
There's certain things that I just can't wait on. And when this hat and gloves came out, I was like, I can't wait on that.
You just can't.
And I knew that this thing would sell out. And I was like, you can't wait on this.
Yeah.
Can't wait on it.
You can't. So I think next time as we meet, we will do our regularly scheduled one we had planned, the 2 last ride matches. 2 of Undertaker's worst opponents, JBL and Mr. Kennedy.
Yes, right.
We should get those 2 out of the way and then look towards something else. So we're done with the Boiler Room. We'll be done with the last ride and then see what to head off after that.
I look forward to next month. I won't have to move and I hopefully won't be sick. So we can get onto it maybe in the teens like we usually do. We'll get back on schedule.
Perfect. And if you have anything to plug, your Weekend Treadmill Horror, where to find you on Twitter, now's your chance.
Right, for the dozens and dozens of people that follow me. I do have hashtag This Week in Treadmill Horror. I missed last week because I moved, so I wasn't on the treadmill because we had to take the treadmill apart.
Right.
Back this week, so I always tweet about what I'm watching on the treadmill while running throughout the week. So this week is Swamp Thing. I never watched the Swamp Thing movies, which is kind of like a borderline horror superhero stuff.
Yeah, the DC guy, yeah.
So it's like, all right, so I'll do Swamp Thing. And then there's only 2 of them, so I did a couple other rando movies to pair with it. So pretty fun week getting into Swamp Thing. So I'll tweet about that tomorrow. And I always tweet about The Undertaker and, all my various sports teams that I watch.
And John F. Kennedy.
Who's my guy. I got a weird palette of interests. It's eclectic. Yeah.
Really eclectic's good. Eclectic is good.
Right.
You can find you at Pokey's Little Dog on Twitter, and I recommend all the creatures of the night to follow you. You are very fun, and as you said, very eclectic, which I enjoy. I enjoy your various hobbies and interests.
Yes. Before we sign off, though, just while we're still on the record, did you dump me yesterday for Talking Taker?
Funny thing about that, I kind of did.
No, that's totally fine. I booked myself in a corner because I said, like, because I know I was the one that was sick. I was the one that had to move. And I'm like, damn it, I feel so bad. Steven's going to think I don't want to do this stuff anymore. But
the funny thing is I went to watch this match back.
Yep.
And I needed the extra day. And then I was doing that thing with him. And I said, well, okay, I'll just push it the next day. I needed the extra day anyway.
Sure. And I thought, and so when we were talking about like, when do you want to do it this week coming up? And I was like, Wednesday sounds good. We usually do Wednesday. And I booked myself into a corner because I've been watching my basketball team, the Boston Celtics. They're in the basketball playoffs right now.
Okay.
And they play every other day. And then as soon as I told you Wednesday, like later on that day, I was like, oh, damn it. The Celtics play. And I'm going to have
it worked out for everybody.
I'm like, son of a bee. But I told Deanna, I was like, I'm not going to move Steven again. I've been jerking this guy around left and right because he's getting sick, moving. I'm like, I'll just tape the Celtics. I'll watch them late night or something, and I won't look at my phone. And then when you called out, when you dumped me for Dorio, I was like, no problem.
Hey, and we had fun on the Instagram Live. You need to get on Instagram so we can do that one day.
I know. How did that go?
Fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long was it? I didn't even.
25, 30 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah. It was nice.
I got to get on the Instagram. I got to join the 21st century.
I agree.
We need to get, I thought about it. We need to get a three-way text going so we can always, this pipeline of toys that we got between Florida,
Right.
South Carolina, and Minnesota. We got to get a three-way text going.
Quite the Bermuda Triangle, if you ask me.
Right. Never know what I'm going to find that you guys can't, and vice versa.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So this is fun. As always, thank you. I enjoyed the gimmick match watch-alongs because we get to bust out stuff like this.
This is like the one time this year I can wear this until Halloween.
Exactly. Exactly. And as always, creatures of the night, follow me on Twitter at CollectUpDead and on Instagram at CollectingDeadMan. Waiting for your Instagram too, Randy.
I will figure it out.
Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, join us next time. Same taker time, same taker channel. As we keep on rolling, baby. And as The Undertaker said at the end of Escape the Undertaker, my hat is off to you.
Never say never.
Good one.